Tell me why ain't nothing but a chicken wing. Yo, this song, the freaking Backstreet Boys song, was not in the game, man. It's a lost opportunity, man. Oh god, oh, I needed my chicken wings. Oh man, Life is Strange is one of my favorite visual novel walking simulator games ever, and I don't play too much of them, but Life is Strange had the it was super cool. It was super amazing. Super fun, and I might be the one thing that do not nod or whatever the hell don't nod is been able to do is amazing, because most of the other ones I've played have not been amazing before. Stone was mediocre, and that is also the same for Tell Me Why. Well, I was not bored out of my mind. Chapter 1 was particularly kind of weak. It picks up. These games tend to pick up as you go along further on. And I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons that they're doing Life is Strange 3 or whatever the hell they're going to call it all together, is because the slow burn that they like to do to build up atmosphere. You know, they want you to pay $20 or whatever for chapter 1, and it's just like a damn intro to all the characters, and it's just kind of boring. And it has a damn catchy thing at the end. But this Tell Me Why is pretty much the same now. It is much smaller. It's only 3 chapters. Takes about 9 hours to run through, or at least my play did. But it was just it's kind of missing from the story perspective. You playing as 2 characters this time, and so there's a trans brother and his sister, and then they share the superpower. They can kind of talk to each other like through their minds, and they can also share memories, but sometimes their memories aren't exactly the same, but they can share them with each other. And so it's each Life is Strange type game has a superpower, and that's the one here. Not used too much. It's more just for, you know, more of exposition or whatever. It might help you to make a more accurate choice later on if you can look and see what of these things are. But speaking of choices, I guess accurate might be the wrong. I don't know. It's hard to say for these games whether there's an accurate choice or not. You know, you usually, typically it comes down, there's one that's somewhat sympathetic and just tries to be calm, and there's one that's just kind of like the asshole, kind of standoffish one. And I think that Tyler lent himself more to the asshole, and I think he was kind of an asshole. Maybe, at least on my play, he was an asshole. And I've heard other people kind of mention that too. But you can, you know, not be a dick if you want to. That's how I ended up usually playing him. And then Alice and his sister actually had some of the best scenes. I particularly like the scene between her and Sam at in his fishing boat house thing when where he's working on the motor. But it did not particularly stand out. The story didn't stand out. And I particularly don't like it when I can guess who the bad guy is, and I don't want to go any more into that, but it's just, if you use your basic logic, you could kind of zoom in on who it is, and I figured it out well in advance. I'm like, man, this is leading up to what I already know. From the gameplay part, you mainly have your choices to make. I didn't go through and do the opposite choices to sort of re-see what the other story is. Didn't seem like it would make too much a difference, honestly, to me. Once you beat your chapter or whatever, they'll tell you the percentage of players who picked that choice versus didn't pick that choice and stuff like that. And I just, looking through that, I'm like, I don't really give a crap whether I made, the kind of this stepdad freaking cop guy, whether I impressed him or not. That really ain't my business. Don't give a shit. But the choices were okay. There was nothing stand out, nothing amazing. There's some characters that seemed to be optional. There was some like right here. Are we on the boat yet? But you're on the boat going in early in the game, and there seemed like this guy who looks like a dickhead, and he has a truck. And it's got, some hillbilly type shit on it. It's like if you as a player could go mess with his truck or look through his truck, and that's just going to piss him off. So I'm like, I'm not going to fuck with this dude. And so I didn't even mess with him, never. And then you run into him later on, and you don't even have to talk to him then. I think his name was Alexander or something like shit like that. And some of the extra characters, the side characters, they're okay. There's nothing particularly impressive, though. Tessa was kind of interesting. She's kind of like a busybody, but you understand her. There's a reason why she is. But I just felt that the story wasn't gripping for what it was. Now, I kind of hate on this game, but graphically, this game looks pretty damn awesome. The animations are not, they're definitely not Last of Us 2 caliber, but they're pretty good. These people look like real people. The houses look like real houses that you could go in. And other than, say, like right here where you would, the camera would naturally zoom in at the back of their face, and you could actually take the camera and zoom it in, but it's clearly meant for you to look at the back of their heads while they're talking, because you look forward, they just look soulless like dolls or whatever. And the Don't Nod people always have a problem making hair. They'll have a character that looks pretty damn realistic, but their hair will look like shit. Allison's look pretty good, but there was some like Sam, and it's like, wow, this is some like he must use magic Sharpie on his fucking hair this morning. It's like it looks, it freaking took so much damn slick goop on it. I don't know. It looks off. It still looks off. And this game was okay for what it was trying to be. Damn sure don't pay for it. Especially since it stays on Game Pass. Pretty sure it stays on Game Pass, and it was free for the month of June, which, you know, I finally got around having some free time, and like I wanted to go through and play it because I heard it lasted. Life is Strange 2 is like shit. That's what I heard. I wasn't impressed by this one. It wasn't a waste of my time, but you know, I feel like I could spend the time playing a better damn visual novel, honestly. And so I'm going to recommend instead, if you've never played it, Life is Strange 1, which it's a little graphically dated compared to this shit, but from an overarching story, gameplay wise, and you know, Max's superpower is cool. She can change time, which means you could look at decisions and go back and alter them just a little bit, or you could rechange your mind about shit like that. I'm gonna recommend that instead. And so from what we got here, Kitty was not impressed with the story. We guessed the baddie, man. We guessed the bad guy. And so she's gonna throw the paw down. And from Brian's take, it's, you know, as far as what you know, the options you have, the choices you have, and the visuals, not the visuals, but the choices you have, and there was just something. Felt like busy work, honest to goodness. There was a point where you've done the game's over, and you're still doing busy work. I was like, what the hell, man? This seems like padded out. It's like, just go get in the car and leave, dude. He's like, no, he wants to reminisce. I'm like, I just want to freaking leave. I gotta figure out what it is to leave. It was obnoxious, man. There's a lot of busy work that I felt that just to try to keep the player, like, you know, to keep the controller from turning off because it's been idle for too long. And so, Brian, we're throwing the paws down there. And really, these visual novel walking simulators, they're based on your choices you got and, you know, the story. And when neither one of those measure up, it doesn't matter how good it looks, because, boy, it looks crisp. It looks amazing. It doesn't matter, you know, about the trend stuff, which I felt was done fairly damn well in this game. But it's just, we're still throwing all the paws down. There's better shit out there. The one to play is Life is Strange 1. And I'm hoping that Life is Strange, 3 or whatever, isn't going to be shit, because it does not seem like they're one off. They had the one hit wonder and they can't repeat it, and that's frustrating. I'm sure that's frustrating for them, that they can't get this shit together. But you know, all paws down. Let's play Life is Strange 1. Out. See ya.